Hey everybody, we are live for our reaction show for pretty much a spoiler review of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But before we do that, got to introduce the guy right here to my right.
Once again, it is me, the J to the E to the double F. Woo! Ree. And welcome back to MUSE TV.
Exactly.
What do we call this? This isn't a watch party.
This is not a watch
party. Post movie spoiler discussion.
Exactly.
It's Monday. It's a Monday night. The movie's out. It made $185 million.
400.
Most of you have seen it by no. Most of you have seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness by now, but we're gonna chat about it. Everything that happened in the movie. This is a spoiler discussion.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you're tuning into the live stream, this is the part where it's time to take a pause, time to take a break, go see the movie, and then come back and resume the live stream or resume the archive video, however you're watching this. Because we are going to be talking spoilers. We're going to be talking story. We're going to be talking all the major events of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Mike.
Exactly, and we may piss some people off, but we may have some people who agree with us as well. So there you go.
So look, $187 million domestic in the actuals, 411 million worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's 411 million. The first Doctor Strange movie, released in 2016, made, I think, 677 million in its entire run. So this movie is already not far behind its original domestic take of 232 million and a worldwide take of 677 million. So I think it's easily going to surpass the box office of the first movie. It's probably going to surpass the domestic box office next week.
Oh, I think so too. I think it has, and then there's really nothing opening that contend with it till Top Gun, huh?
So to continue the box office discussion, does this movie make over $1 billion worldwide?
I think so. They're already a little under halfway there. Even with those China and I believe
Saudi Arabia
not showing it, I think it's going to hit it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to hit it.
And that's very good considering, I mean, technically we're still in a pandemic, but it's a box office scene that's recovering from the damage to the pandemic. So, in coming off CinemaCon, which was all about, theatrical exhibition, and guys like us who are proponents of seeing movies in theaters, it's good to see this right now. No matter what you think about Doctor Strange, it's good to see a big movie performing well and bringing people out to the theaters.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree because I think this summer is going to be a good register of how much people do want to go back to the movies and how much I miss that experience.
So May is normally a big month. Pre-pandemic, May is a big month, but this May there's not a lot coming out for a big theatrical release. Firestarter is a day and date release. It's coming on in theaters and Peacock on May 13th. Let's see, what is the next big release in theaters? I think
it is.
And the Bob's Burger movie. Downtown Abbey, I think will have like a good counter program audience, but I don't think it's going to make big money. But it's not. It's slim pickings. Yeah, it is slim pickings until Bob's Burgers. So, Doctor Strange is going to have this whole month to itself pretty much until Top Gun comes out.
Yeah, and I think it will hit that $1 billion mark in no time.
But just looking at the rest of the summer, we have Jurassic World Dominion in June, Pixar's Lightyear in June, The Black Phone in June, Elvis in June. July, we have the Minions, The Rise of Gru. We have Thor, Love and Thunder. So, I mean, of course, Marvel will have an edge. coming off of Doctor Strange, going into Thor. Jordan Peele's Nope. Pause of Fury, that might do okay. Yeah. Bullet Train, I don't know. And DC League of Super Pets. Now let's look at August. Man, not a lot of big stuff coming in August. I guess Easter Sunday for fans of Joe Coy. If you like Joe Coy.
Well, to be honest, we posted the trailer for that, and it did really, really well over the weekend.
I can see that movie doing well because it's Joe Coy. It's really like Joe Coy's first big movie, right?
Yeah, it is.
So there we go.
Yeah. So
yeah.
To get into the discussions, because Unknown has already commented, and we want to make sure we get his comment in.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the movie? While I put Unknown's comment.
I just so everyone knows, full disclosure, I am a Tomato Meter approved film critic. My review is on Rotten Tomatoes. I gave the film a fresh score, and I rated it 7.5 out of 10. Overall, I like the movie. I'm positive about the movie. I have misgivings about the movie. I have issues with the movie. I have problems with the movie, but it didn't ruin my overall enjoyment of the movie. And the things I liked about it and my main takeaways about it, I enjoyed more than what I did not like in the issues I had from it, which we'll get into. What about you?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I have my problems with the movie as well. There's certain things that I wish that were changed. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I gave it. It's hard for me to give it a number score, but I think I'd probably go with you at 7.5.
Yeah, and let's see. Let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes score right now.
While you do that, Unknown said, "I heard this movie got a B+ rating. Keep in mind, Eternals got a B."
With what? Are we talking about cinema score?
Probably.
Or the audience score. How much stock do we put in a Rotten Tomatoes audience score?
I don't know. Well,
the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 10,000 verified ratings, is 87%. Now, cinema score. Let's look that up. Cinema score for Doctor Strange 2 is B+.
Yeah.
So is that? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in school, a B+ was an above average grade. Like that's B+ is right under A-. So that's more than a passing grade.
Yeah.
A D. When I was in school, a D could be a passing grade. So I mean, like, what are we like? Is B+ like what are we looking at B+? Plus, that's a cinema score grade.
Yeah.
So cinema score is like that's like exit polling, is it not?
Yes.
Like people opening weekend, they'll have like some reps checking in, asking people what they thought. It's like it's audience sampling. Okay. It's not everybody. So I don't know how much we can trust. To me, the true what's the word I'm looking for? The true, I guess, maybe not modifiers, but the true variables we can look at. Besides, there's the audience score. Besides opening weekend, is the second weekend. How much does the box office drop from weekend 1 to weekend 2? And to me, that's a better signifier of how much the audience is liking the movie, more so than a cinema score grade.
Yeah. Unknown, 7.5 is understandable. It's bad when you don't hear clapping at the end. So, Unknown, if you're still on here, there was no clapping at the end of the movie for you when you went to go see it? Just curious. I know there was some clapping and some cheering, but nothing.
Here, I sent you the Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. So,
well, let me upload that right now.
So, Rotten Tomatoes that includes my score is sitting at 75%. So I think, I think that's pretty reasonable for this movie. Because to me, the movie makes some very tough, polarizing choices, And there are some choices I have a lot of trouble with.
Yeah. Unknown, no clapping at the, no cheering, no
There
nothing.
were some big when I saw the movie. Now, granted, I saw was mostly like a media screening. There were a lot of big reactions and a lot of cheers throughout the screening.
Yeah. Well, my screening was a radio screening, and I just happened to get a press ticket for that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of cheers, but there was a lot of people who are already fans of Marvel. So you got those cheers there as well at my screening, but I haven't gone to see it just with
Okay, but I mean, look. So Doctor Strange, so 187 million opening weekend. The first film opening weekend, 85 million. We're talking about $100 million increase for the sequel. Yeah. And this is a character who hasn't had his own movie since 2016. That's huge. Yeah. So no matter what we say about Rotten Tomato scores or Rotten Tomato meters or audience scores, the movie did extraordinary business, and there's no taking away from that. Even if it drops 60%, let's say it drops 60% next weekend, the movie is still doing tremendously well.
Yeah.
If it were to drop 65 to 70%, that wouldn't be great. But even if it drops 65, 70%, the movie is still doing tremendously well.
Yeah.
Because let's see, what did Batman v Superman open with opening weekend?
I don't.
Let's look at Batman v Superman. I'm going to check that.
While you do that,
opening weekend, Batman v Superman made 166 million. So this movie outgrossed Batman and Superman in a movie together.
Yeah.
Opening weekend. So there you go.
Yeah. So while we're doing that, we got into that. What were some of the things you liked about the movie?
Here is the number one thing. Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Is the number one thing. This was a Sam Raimi movie. Visually, with the direction, the editing style, Sam Raimi's fingerprints were all over the movie, and that was my favorite aspect of this, to see an not just a Marvel movie, but an MCU movie.
Right.
Because we've seen Marvel movies before the MCU, and Sam Raimi has directed some of the most celebrated ones. To have Sam Raimi direct a movie that's part of the MCU, that's part of the greater crossover franchise, that's unlike anything we had ever seen before or since. To have him direct the movie is his direction, and his fingerprints were all over it, and that was the greatest joy I found in this film.
Yeah.
Along, what else? Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell cameo.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Campbell is a national treasure. And we can't have a Sam Raimi film without Bruce Campbell. That's number two. Number three, Benedict Cumberbatch's performance. I feel this was a chance to let him really sort of delve a little more into the whole master of the mystic arts of Doctor Strange, of this iconic character who's been around for decades. Get to learn a little bit more about his backstory. We get to see a little bit more of his abilities. He's been at this a bit longer. He's more experienced. And I think that, along with Sam Raimi's direction, where Sam Raimi just likes to torture his protagonist in every way you can imagine, just physically and mentally, that really just added to the whole experience. So those were all my favorite aspects. What about you, Mike?
One, I agree with you with Sam Raimi's direction. It gives it a different feel. It gives it something that that just makes it different to me.
It looked and felt different from not all MCU movies, but like some of the more recent more recent films.
Yeah, it just had a different feel to it. I like Benedict Cumberbatch's performance. I love Xochitl Gomez. I thought she was a bright spot in the movie.
as America Chavez.
Yes, as America Chavez was great. It was great to see that, and
On the
it was great to keep her comic
Latin
book
American
story intact.
superhero. So,
Yeah,
and I know that's a big deal for you.
yeah, and to see them keep her storyline and not change it much was great.
Right.
Uh, and that's what I loved. I loved all about. And the visual effects were good, at least for me. I didn't see
Here's
it.
what I didn't like.
Okay, go.
So I guess so since this is a spoiler discussion, the big reveal, or I guess the big bad of this movie is Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen. So
Mhm.
the whole marketing campaign, we were probably expecting Doctor Strange to be fighting and working alongside Scarlet Witch, but in fact, we were misled because the whole movie is all about Scarlet Witch hunting America and Strange to steal America's powers. The crux of the movie is that America Chavez has powers to travel between the multiverse dimensions. She can open rifts uh, in the multiverse when she's experiencing extreme stress or fear. She wants that power for herself so she can use it to travel to another parallel universe where there's another Wanda Maximoff who actually has what are the kids' names from WandaVision? Tommy and Billy?
Yeah, I believe so.
Where Tommy and Billy actually exist because they disappeared when she took away the hex illusion on WandaVision. So she's trying to find another universe where her magically induced kids are actually real so she can be a mother again. Um, and this was after using the Darkhold, the Book of the Damned, which she acquired from Agatha Harkness in WandaVision. Apparently, the book corrupted Wanda and has sort of made her go evil, turn to the dark side, however you want to classify this. So Wanda is the bad guy. She is the main central villain of the movie. It's Wanda. It's the Scarlet Witch. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, and that's where I pretty much was. There's certain things in that storyline that I was just kind of like, I don't know.
Well, I think it's a tough pill to swallow because we had this whole acclaimed series, WandaVision,
Mhm.
that kind of set up this idea that Wanda was holding that whole town prisoner, and she was, you know, imprisoning and torturing those civilians. But the implication was that Agatha was maybe manipulating her mind and messing with her mind
Yeah.
and causing some of that as well. And then she just turns around, reads from a book, and now she's willing to kill innocent people or whoever gets in her way to get what she wants.
Yeah.
After she already sort of redeemed herself by releasing the hex in Westview, New Jersey in the TV series. She released the hex in the versions of Vision and the kids she created disappeared as a result. So now it feels like we're right back to square one with her, and except now she's even worse, and now she's killing people. Now she's going after the Camartage, the other sorcerers, Doctor Strange, and an innocent young girl in America. So it was a difficult pill for me to swallow, and I'm not sure I really like it
Mhm.
that they made Wanda, go bad in this movie, but whatever. What do
Well,
you
that's
think?
where I got a little confused because at the extra credit scene on WandaVision, you see her
Oh
learning
yeah.
stuff from the book, but I didn't think this was the direction that we're gonna go in.
Well, what I recall happening, and I want to credit Dan Morell because he brought this up in his review on YouTube. In the WandaVision scene, we hear like the voices of the kids, and they're crying for help.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds like they're in danger or they're crying for help.
Right, I remember that.
And that's not where we see the kid. When we see the kids again in this movie, they're with Wanda, their real mother,
Mm-hmm.
in another universe, and they're doing fine.
Yeah.
And this Wanda is a good person.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
She cares and loves for her children, and she's not a villain.
Right.
But she does seem to have powers.
Okay.
In this alternate universe called Universe 838. Yeah. They call it Universe 838 because it's stupid multiverse garbage.
Yeah.
But but in WandaVision, it sounded like the kids were crying for help. Mm-hmm. And then we see them again here, and they're fine, and they're with their real alternate version of Wanda, who's their real mother.
Yeah.
So I don't know if something changed in between, between the pandemic, reshoots. We know there were massive reshoots on this film. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm just not. It doesn't feel right that Wanda went this direction.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too. After when reading about the production and what they were going to do and some of the ideas that they had, I don't know if they were true or not, but there was a lot of rumors about this film on who the villain was going to be and what this was going to go.
Well, if you look at the trailers are blatantly misleading because the trailers make it look like an evil Doctor Strange is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And we do get that in the movie, but they made it look like he's the main bad guy and that maybe Wanda is fighting with Doctor Strange to deal with this evil alternate universe Doctor Strange and maybe the Illuminati as well.
Yeah.
Because they did the teasers and the TV spots did give away that the Illuminati are in this movie.
Right.
They did tease the Illuminati, and then they blatantly gave away that the Illuminati's in this film. But that's a whole other can of worms. But
yeah, exactly. And that's another can of worms that I'm just kind of
okay. But was making Wanda into the villain after WandaVision the right decision?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Does Wanda redeeming herself at the very end, does that make up for turning her into the villain? Because she did kill. I mean, she did kill people. She killed innocent people.
Yeah,
she committed mass murder.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is beyond what happened in WandaVision because there was an element. Because in WandaVision there was an element of, she wasn't in her right mind. She was dealing with all that grief after Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Of fighting Thanos and then seeing Vision's body sort of like in that state of disrepair. And then Agatha was manipulating her. That to me, that was sort of like the excuse is that, she did not do, she made mistakes, but she was being manipulated by Agatha Harkness. So I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. But like, can you continue giving her the benefit of the doubt because of the Darkhold?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I'm like, I don't know where they were going to go with this as her a villain.
Now my problem with this is that, when Wanda goes crazy and goes wacko in the comics, those are not my favorite stories.
Yeah.
To me, like Wanda's whole backstory, she used to be part of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Her father is Magneto. Mm-hmm. So she used to be basically like a mutant like a mutant supremacist terrorist. Then early on in her history, she left the Brotherhood and she and her brother Quicksilver joined the Avengers.
Yeah.
So sort of like what happened in Age of Ultron, except instead of Hydra, they were with Magneto's Brotherhood.
Yeah.
was the case, and then they joined the Avengers, and then I don't really think Wanda really turned bad for decades until Disassembled, and then she just went wacko and started killing everybody. So I don't like those stories. So I'm not a fan of those stories, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just not so hot on this turning point, Mike.
Yeah, me neither, because I don't know where they go from this either. Like after what you see at the end and her getting, first thing she had to destroy that temple, and
it was like she brought that whole Wondergore mountain on top of herself, but that was hardly a final, death of her character.
Yeah, because I was just like, where in the hell we go with this afterwards? It's like, it's almost like, what happens to her? Where is she gonna go? I know there is a statue of WandaVision from what I heard.
How do you think Elizabeth Olsen felt about this change? Do you think she was okay with it?
Well, they say that she had a lot of input into the character. In one interview that she had given, is that they had said that she had a lot of input to it, but I don't see
now
if that's true or not.
I will say one thing. I will say Olsen clearly, despite my misgivings about this decision, Elizabeth Olsen gave her all. Like, she didn't phone in her performance. She gave her all to this performance. So it wasn't like Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique, where she's like clearly has her foot out the door and clearly wants nothing to do with the X-Men franchise. It's not as bad as that.
No,
like she clearly, I truly feel she gave everything into this. If this was Wanda's, big send off, she gave her all in this performance, and it's very well acted. And the way Sam Raimi directs and visualizes her abilities, her powers, and her as a menace, is all well done. It's just the idea itself of Wanda basically being corrupted and turning to the dark side is what I struggled to accept.
And see, that's where I agree with you on that. It isn't the acting, once again, like in Moon Knight. It isn't the acting. I don't feel it's the direction. I think it's the story elements and what they wanted to do with the characters. That where I have the biggest issue with.
And I also have an issue with is the misleading marketing material.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but also it's like the continuity. You're making these like WandaVision is supposed to lead in and spin off into this, as well as Spider-Man No Way Home. It's all supposed to spin into
if they spent more time in WandaVision building up Wanda becoming corrupted.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because we don't really see that. We only see her with the Darkhold for one scene. We don't really see it corrupting her and poisoning her mind. Yes, you can kill these people. We don't see it happen. It all happens off screen. So it's clunky.
And I'm wondering, since they did push this movie back, if it was closer to WandaVision in its release, would it have been a different aspect?
I'm curious about I'm curious about that as well, and how exactly. I don't know if we'll ever know how much changed during reshoots and what have you, but it's not that I hated the movie. It's just that I don't.
There's things that I just don't. That don't sit well with me, I guess you could put.
I don't know. I mean, I would not have done. I don't think I would have done if this was the goal. I would like WandaVision. I think would have had to be totally rewritten. I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you don't really set up this outcome very well in WandaVision, because at the end of WandaVision, she's like the hero. You get to see her being heroic and get to see her become like an actual superhero.
Right.
And become the Scarlet Witch, and the way it's presented is like Agatha is the villain.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it really wasn't Agatha all along.
Yeah. So, and that's why. And then that's why it just throws me off, the whole thing and the whole premise and the way they went about it. In addition to this whole multiverse stuff as well.
Okay, so now let's move on to the multiverse.
Yeah.
Let's move on to multiverse. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on multiverse and the Multiverse of Madness?
I thought there was going to be more madness in this multiverse, more than just one or two universes that we saw.
They're basic. So other than the main one where the heroes operate in, there are basically two other ones.
Yes.
There's 838, and then there's like the one that's like collapsing in on itself,
Yeah, and
which
the
we see
one
a little bit of.
that and then the one that I don't know if the one we saw in the beginning is the one that they landed in.
Oh, that was like an in between. That's an in between space with the
Yeah.
Book of Vishanti.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Um, I got to be honest with you, Mike. I don't care about the multiverse.
Mhm.
I feel like it was a gimmick here. It was a gimmick here used to hype fans, to like hype them about cameos, and you're going to get to see characters from different films, different actors, and you're going to get to see them all interact because of the multiverse. I feel they overhyped and overplayed this gimmick, and I just think it's a gimmick. I don't think it's a real genuine way to progress and tell a story.
Yeah, and see that's where I'm kind of lost in what it comes up next with like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or Loki season 2, and what they set up with Loki in the multiverse. It confuses me a little bit on what the direction is going to be when it comes to the multiverse.
I guess that remains to be seen.
Mm.
Now, I mean, I like that sequence where they're like barreling through the different
Mhm.
universes, and
Yeah.
it's like so, and it's trippy, and it's like a fever dream. Like all that looked really good, and all that was well done
Yeah.
until they landed to universe 838.
Mhm.
That was well constructed. Again, like Sam Raimi's direction, I think was the best asset of this film.
Right.
And just gave it a nice, unique feel uh, that was different from past MCU installments. So I liked all that. Okay, so let's go into the Illuminati, which was the other big
Then-
thing that was teased.
Mhm.
They basically like from the outset, we knew Patrick Stewart was going to appear in this film likely as Professor Xavier, which he did.
Yeah.
So they get to Universe 838, um, and they're looking for help to deal with Wanda because they're being chased by Wanda. Wanda has the ability. What is it? Dreamwalking? They call it
Yeah,
dreamwalking.
dreamwalking.
So Wanda can use, because she has the Darkhold, she can use her powers to dreamwalk, so she can possess the mind of an alternate universe version of herself
Hmm.
and wreak havoc on different universes. So that's
Mhm.
kind of her loophole if she can't go through America's portal.
Mhm.
So she dreamwalks into the mind of the Wanda who's also in this dimension, 838,
Mhm.
and is the Wanda with the children. And this is where America and Doctor Strange get stranded coincidentally. They look for help from Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor, who takes them prisoner and takes them to the Illuminati.
Yeah.
The Illuminati are made up of Maria Rambeau, not Monica Rambeau,
Mhm.
Maria Rambeau, Monica's mother, played by Lashana Lynch, who was in Captain Marvel.
Mhm.
She became Captain Marvel, basically.
Yeah.
Anson Mount, who returns from ABC's Inhumans as Black Bolt.
Looked a
Uh,
lot more like Black Bolt than in
he
the
actually had his mask and his tuning fork this
yeah.
time. Um, Haley Atwell, who was Captain Carter,
Yep.
with the Captain Carter suit and shield from What If. Though we're not, I don't think it was the same, meant to be the same Captain Carter,
Mm.
but that's just my assumption.
Yeah.
I don't know for certain. And the other big one was John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Mhm.
Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, of course, in his Fantastic Four uniform. And finally, we had the return of Patrick Stewart once again as Professor Charles Xavier. So, that was our Illuminati lineup for this film, Mike. What did you think?
This is where I think I wish they would have held it as much as they possibly could and wouldn't have teased it. Because I think it would have gotten even. I would have been even more excited knowing that they weren't there. It was okay to hear Patrick Stewart's voice in there. I was okay with that, but the rest of the Illuminati should have been hidden until the movie came out. That's one of the things too. Sometimes I feel like for Reed Richards, Black Bolt, and even Professor X, like these were teasing future to show, oh yeah, eventually they're gonna come out. But it's like, but I think it confuses us to which it still leads up to the question of who's gonna be playing these people in this new universe. Because I don't see
Well, there's a specific reason for that, isn't there?
yeah, exactly. Like I don't see Patrick Stewart returning as Professor X. I just don't see it in the future.
Well,
Why?
not these versions, because what happened?
Oh, they all died.
As soon as they get introduced,
exactly.
They get freaking what's the word?
Killed, smashed, ribbons.
Is nerfed
to a shredder.
It got nerfed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where
Black Bolt gets his brain exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Carter gets split in half by her own shield.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel is crushed by a giant statue. Reed Richards is like shredded to bits. And Xavier tries to free the because Wanda is possessing the mind of the good Wanda in this universe. Xavier tries to free her from the dream walking thing and gets his neck snapped.
Yeah.
All quite horrific, violent. I gotta be honest. Now look, people were cheering.
Yeah.
At my screening when these people were screaming, yelling when we saw these characters. And then only for them minutes later to be absolutely put through a freaking blender.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. When I say this was the worst possible way to introduce these characters into the MCU. The worst possible way. Especially John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yes.
Especially.
Yeah.
His very first appearance, and you have Wanda tear him to shreds. Like, how are we why would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my other,
and I agree with you on this. I don't understand why you bring them in and then destroy them.
Here's my other issue. Doctor Strange has never met most of these people.
Yeah.
He has no idea who they are. So it's exciting for the audience to see, oh my God, Patrick Stewart, he's Professor Xavier. Oh, it's the chair from the cartoon. Oh, there's the cartoon theme song motif that plays as he's hovering out. Like, that means something to the audience. It's fan service.
Yeah. It's fan service.
It's fan service that doesn't really service the story, because Doctor Strange, he other than maybe Captain Carter, he has no idea who these people are. He's never met them before. Meeting them means nothing to him.
Yeah.
So it's not like, so what is the importance that to have these characters show up with these actors? I don't get it.
And then to have Maria Rambeau be Captain Marvel, knowing that Doctor Strange has met Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel.
Right.
What did you question? Like, how?
Well, I think my assumption was, in this universe, Maria got the Kree superpowers instead of she got the Tesseract superpowers instead of Carol.
Yeah.
Is my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
But
it's all too confusing to me.
But like he didn't recognize any of these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you had Tony Stark, because at least like if you had Tony Stark in there as Superior Iron Man,
mm-hmm.
and maybe he's played. Now I know people talked about Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So it was like Tony Stark. Oh my God, Tony Stark. He's like, you look different or something.
Mm-hmm.
But at least like he has a connection with Tony Stark because he's interacted with Tony Stark. He has not interacted with any of these characters before.
Yeah.
So it lessens the impact. It lessens the impact of the Illuminati imprisoning Doctor Strange and dealing with Doctor Strange. And then to so brutally and just violently dispatch all the characters like that. I'm not saying you can't kill them, but to just introduce them just to kill them. What do you do when you act? Let's say we do bring back John Krasinski as Reed Richards in the planned Fantastic Four movie. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And how do you take Reed Richards seriously after you just saw that happen? Now, I want John Krasinski to play Reed Richards, but here's my problem. We didn't really get a good sense of his powers. We didn't get a good sense of his personality in this film. It was a nothing role.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But here's the twist to it, and putting Doctor Strange as a more of a key element character throughout this whole phase, is that if something were to ever happen, he could go up to Reed Richards and tell him, "Hey, this is what happened in this universe. Try not to do it in 616." That's the only thing I could think of. It's not the best scenario, but that's all I could think of, because it's like, because here's the thing too that goes into this. When Professor X shows Doctor Strange what happened to him in that universe,
it's just that once you see that something like that happen to a character, it's like the most extreme outcome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you see in the comics or wherever, you see these characters go through many battles, many trials and tribulations, and you don't see them get butchered quite like this, unless it's like some extreme, like big event. And then I don't know. This was another hard pill for me to swallow. Yeah. I think the Illuminati just felt like a gimmick to drive up box office. I don't really feel like they added much to the movie at all, Mike.
Yeah. And it wasn't really that much of an addition. I think it was more of a trend of showing Wanda's madness. Because I think when they say Multiverse of Madness, the real madness is Wanda.
That's a good observation.
I don't think it is the multiverse does not really play much of a role other than to get from one point to another.
Right.
And that's about it.
I did like zombie Doctor Strange because early in the movie, at the opening of the movie,
Defender Strange was what he looked like.
Yeah, Defender Strange. So we had Defender Strange in America fleeing from this like demon creature that's chasing them to take America's powers, and they're trying to find the Book of Vishanti to find a solution to deal with Wanda. At the time, we don't know Wanda is behind everything, but she's the one who's sending the monsters after America. So this Defender version of Strange dies, even though he was ready to sacrifice America to keep the powers from Wanda's hands.
Yeah.
But America was able to open a portal, and it sends her and the dead Doctor Strange's body into the MCU Doctor Strange's dimension, and they bury his body So then after Wanda gets a hold of America and takes her back to her dimension to perform a ritual sacrifice to steal her powers, Doctor Strange goes to another multiverse dimension to get the dark, to find another version of the Darkhold, different from Wanda's, to dreamwalk and possess his dead body, that the dead Defender Strange who died at the beginning, to help America and defeat Wanda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it sounds so convoluted. It's actually not as convoluted in the movie. It actually makes sense in the movie.
Yeah.
I did like the zombie Doctor Strange just because it was like, Sam Raimi doing like dead zombie hero stuff.
Yeah.
It all looked really good, with like where he's like controlling the evil spirits of the damned to form into his cape and put him into the Wonder Gore Mountain. America gets a chance to kind of show off and be the hero of the story, and she takes Wanda to the home of the 838 Wanda with the kids. And and what stops Wanda is the kids see her acting so horrible and monstrous, and obviously that kind of makes Wanda see the error of her ways. So she stops doing what she's doing, and she lets the heroes escape, and she drops the whole mountain on herself. So in the end, I guess she kind of redeems herself and sacrifices herself for her wrongdoings, but a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And that's just why I can't rate. So there are things I liked about all this, and but my problems are why I can't rate the movie higher.
Yeah. The story issues and the direction on the way they wanted to take the stories where my issues are. And that's the same thing with me.
I think what I would have done is I would have taken out the multiverse entirely. Maybe kept Wanda as the villain, and maybe she's trying to get the Darkhold because she thinks she can use the Darkhold to make her children again.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Here's another big issue. So Mordo, basically at the end of the last movie, Mordo is like, we don't need any more sorcerers and then Doctor Strange is like, oh, my friend snapped and tried to kill me. Yeah. So there's like a whole movie of worth of story that we never saw happen with Mordo.
Yeah.
So exactly. I was kind of that was something else I was disappointed with.
Yeah, I caught that really quick. Really quick.
Is it Chiwetel?
Yeah, Chiwetel
Ejiofor. He is a great actor.
Oh, he is.
And
have you seen that Showtime show that he's in?
The Man Who Fell to Earth?
Yeah.
Not yet.
It's really good.
Now look. This may sound sacrilegious, Mike, but before Chadwick Boseman was cast as T'Challa, the Black Panther, you want to know who my top choice to play T'Challa was?
Him?
Was Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
That's just the high esteem and respect I have for him as an actor.
Yeah.
I feel Mordo has been terribly wasted in these films, and he is one of Doctor Strange's top villains as a character in the comics.
Yeah.
I wanted to see like just an unhinged, unrepentant Mordo fighting Doctor Strange, and I feel like we're never going to see that now.
No, I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're ever going to see that. I think whatever they go in the future, I don't think we're going to see anything.
See, my thought was in the first movie they were setting up Mordo. But this is not what we saw of Mordo. Like, this wasn't even the original Mordo. It was the other universe's Mordo in this film. So to have that, and he's just really like working for the Illuminati, That it didn't work for me. It wasn't enough.
Mhm.
It was not a satisfying payoff for the Mordo character.
Right.
So that was my other kind of complaint. Um, just because my expectation is that maybe Mordo was going to be a bigger villain,
Mhm.
and it didn't happen. So
My thing
yeah,
with the whole thing, like with Wanda, I think if they would have had somebody else as the villain manipulating Wanda through that book, somebody who actually harnessed the book a little further, like Nightmare or somebody else,
or
like
evil Doctor Strange.
or evil Doctor Strange, or because or that new figure they just came out with, and I forget his name. Oh shoot, I forgot his name. I just saw the character.
Dormammu.
Not Dormammu. It was it was somebody else. Sleepwalker or
Oh, oh,
which one was it?
I'm looking it up right now. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's a figure that came out just recently. I saw it at the
Sleepwalker.
yeah,
Eh,
Sleepwalker. Well, but something other than Wanda, I think it would have changed it up a little bit more.
hmm.
Would have at least have some continuity because of showing that she's not familiar with the book and that book could take over her.
I wanted to see, I would have also liked to have seen like a much better version of Dormammu as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because kind of like Dormammu walking around with the big flaming head and the armor and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But with that, to finally get into like the end sequences,
Mm.
seeing America Chavez studying under
Wong
under Wong,
at
which I was kind of
at the Comartage.
which I was kind of like, okay, like she has her own powers. How is that going to help her control her powers?
Well, she's still learning to control them, so maybe the meditation and the martial arts aspect will help her find focus. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't know about that. And then the extra credit scene.
She's not a sorcerer, so why
No,
does she need to train as a sorcerer or
exactly.
whatever?
Exactly. And then the extra credit scene with Charlize Theron.
As what was it, Clea?
Yeah. Left me even more confused. Like, where in the hell is this film?
So Clea said that Doctor Strange caused an incursion.
Mm-hmm.
So Doctor Strange did use another version of the Darkhold, which we're to assume corrupted him in some way and now causes him to have a third eye, like the evil Doctor Strange, who he fought and defeated to get the Darkhold in the movie.
Yeah.
Uh, so Clea like slices through the dimensional barrier. I don't know, and she's like, Doctor Strange, like we had you started an incursion or something, and
Yeah.
then she's like takes him away, and that was the mid credits scene.
Yeah, which kind of threw me off after the end of the movie. You see him walking across the street screaming like in pain with a third eye.
So Clea is my understanding she's another sorcerer
Mhm.
and another like potential love interest for Doctor Strange. And so in this movie, his ex-girlfriend Christine Palmer, Rachel McAdams got married at the beginning of the movie, so this movie is sort of Doctor Strange finding closure with um his universe's Christine and also another universe's version. The one who worked for the Illuminati
Yeah.
is another Christine
Mhm.
who agrees to help them at one point.
Yeah.
Um, he has closure with her as well because the Doctor Strange in their universe kind of never sort of figured things out with Christine either.
Mhm.
So he found closure with Christine, and now I guess he's going to get with Clea. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Overall,
happens.
overall, I don't know what the direction is with this whole multiverse thing.
I don't know where they're going.
I have not seen this in Thor.
Well, the thing is, before Infinity War, we had a pretty good idea
Yeah.
where they were going. They're gonna eventually they're all gonna meet Thanos, and Thanos is just gonna wreck their crap and try to just destroy the universe, basically.
Yeah.
So we kind of saw where that was going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're going with this. They introduced a version of Kang in Loki.
Yeah.
So one would assume they're building up to Kang, maybe.
Mhm.
Or Secret. I don't know. Some people think it's leading up to Secret Wars. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going with this. Make
Yeah.
of it what you will.
Me neither. I'm hoping, but I'm not expecting that an Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania it will explain a lot more. But something tells me it's not.
Well, I mean, introducing the Fantastic Four would really help right about now.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, like within the next year or two.
So hopefully, the other thing is Fantastic Four just lost their director,
Mm-hmm.
Who was going to be who directed No Way Home.
John Watts.
Yeah. He was going to direct Fantastic Four, but he quit the project.
Yeah.
So we don't know who's doing Fantastic Four.
Well, now there's a rumor going around the interwebs that John Krasinski is going to step in to direct Fantastic Four. But like,
is that a legitimate rumor, or is that wishful thinking?
That's a rumor. I haven't
heard. From who?
It's that everything always is spilling out.
From where? From 4chan? Is it or
I don't know. I forgot where he said he got it from.
Now look, John Krasinski. I think he's a great, promising director.
I think so too.
If he's up for it, I think that could be interesting. Yeah. But unless it comes from Variety, Hollywood Reporter, or Deadline, I don't consider it.
Somebody who's working on the project itself and tells you, "Hey, this is a director. Don't say anything."
Sure.
Then fine.
Well, have you heard something?
But I don't believe anything that Everything Always says.
Have you heard something?
I haven't heard anything about that project at all.
Okay, well,
that's why the rumors.
We need a Fantastic Four movie, because the X-Men, I think, are less important to all these things, but Fantastic Four would definitely help.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I would be very happy to see John Krasinski play Reed Richards again.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just so crestfallen and disappointed if this was our introduction to John Krasinski as Reed Richards, that you would do this to him right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way. It's the wrong way to introduce a character in the MCU. I'm sorry.
And if they say, well, he didn't die, he just got shredded to ribbons. Nah, you saw blood splatter. He died.
He died, and he did not get snapped back.
Mm-hmm.
That universe's version of Reed is Dunzo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, when is this movie coming out? Phase 4 doesn't have a release date yet. So
no release date. All we have right now is that Thor is next. Then at the end of the year is Wakanda Forever, correct?
Wakanda Forever.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp got the Marvels.
That's right. So that's next year. So next year is Quantumania in, I believe, February.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Marvels is July.
Yeah.
So those are our next.
And they haven't announced November.
Those are our next four. Those are our next 4 movies. So, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh yeah.
That one's also, and that one just wrapped filming, and that one's May 2023.
Right.
So let's look. Yeah. So let's look at MCU Phase 4.
Yeah, because there's still probably a November date that they're gonna probably fill.
So Thor. Okay, so we have Thor in July.
Mhm.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in November. February, Ant-Man and the Wasp. May is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Mhm.
July is the Marvels. So what we have confirmed after that is Fantastic Four and Blade, which don't have release dates yet.
Yeah.
So those are our next 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know roughly when the next 1, 2, 3, 4. We know when the next roughly 5 movies are coming out, and after that are Fantastic Four and Blade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know if it's Secret Wars or if it's a Kang War, a Time War. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Plus,
Yeah.
we have the scroll. Plus, we have the scrolls and Secret Invasion and more weirdness.
Mhm.
House Agatha, House of Harkness, Echo. But hopefully,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy will give us a good idea of
Yeah.
something.
Do you ever feel like maybe these movies after the first couple phases of the cinematic movie universe, maybe they should just be standalones at this point?
What do you mean?
Just have their stories being told individually, not have them interlock as closely as they are right now.
Hmm. Like maybe Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Uh, See, I don't know. You see, because Spider-Man: No Way Home had Doctor Strange and had the multiverse stuff, and then the No Way Home made it look like it was going to lead right into Doctor Strange, and it kind of really didn't.
Hmm.
So I don't mind it so much. To me, it's all about execution.
Yeah.
If you can do it in a way that works, it's natural, it looks good, it's feel good. I don't mind it so much.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, look, in Peacemaker, were you really expecting uh Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa to actually show up as their Justice League characters
Oh,
at the
hell
end?
no. Hell no.
But did you like it?
Oh yeah, I loved it. It
So
made sense to what they were doing, especially
so
when he cusses them out after he already killed everybody.
I'm sick of that rumor. Yeah, it's not a rumor.
It's not a
F,
rumor.
F you, Barry.
Yeah, that was awesome. That really was just great.
Fish effer,
Uh-huh.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really. I to me, I'm good with it. Just do
Mhm.
it in a way that works and is fun, is cool, makes sense, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah. That's why I'm hoping Love and Thunder isn't connected to any multiverse
Now,
stuff.
now, I mean, look, the Batman is not connected to any other DC franchises
Mm.
either,
Right.
and I was fine with that.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
but
Mhm.
why can't future Batman movies not be connected to things if there's
Right.
if there's a chance for a fun cameo or something or a cool kind of mix up?
Yeah.
Because I mean, one of my I love when Bruce Timm and Paul Dini did World's Finest
Mhm.
with Batman, Superman fighting Lex Luthor and the Joker.
Mhm.
I would love to see a movie like that. And that crossover movie was that's continuing off of Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series.
Right.
And it means a lot more because these were characters we'd been watching in
Mhm.
their own shows, and now they're coming together in an animated movie event.
Yeah.
So that's what I like.
Mhm.
Rather than just if you're going to do it, I would rather do it that way instead of just everything stands alone and they can never interconnect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just has to be done right. It has to be done right.
Yeah. So I think we got through it all. Everything that we need to talk about for this movie. Until the next one. Until the next.
Yeah, maybe we can do this again for Thor, Love and Thunder. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is good content for the channel. And yeah, just in case, I had a laundry list of complaints for this film, but there were things I genuinely did like.
Yeah.
I love Sam Raimi's direction. I like Benedict Cumberbatch's performance. I liked Elizabeth Olsen's performance, even though I wasn't crazy about her being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Her performance I thought was exceptional, and she did it 100%, even though I wasn't crazy about the idea of her going to the dark side.
Yeah.
So all those things worked for me. Just some of the story decisions and things like that, I would have maybe not have done if I was the one holding the pen. But I'm not. It's not my movie.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% because I feel the same way.
Okay, so I would very much like Sam Raimi to do another MCU film, preferably one where he could start it from scratch and kind of set and establish a tone. I don't know if he's interested in coming back and doing another Doctor Strange movie or what have you, but I'd be very interested if he could come back and do another MCU film, and if he can be allowed to direct it the way he wants, and maybe make some more storyline, have more authority over the direction of the story, I would very much be on board with that.
Yeah.
It seems like he had a good experience here. I hope he did, and he'd be open to the idea of doing another film. Because look, the movie's doing great. It's doing great. So
that's why I say it's
good for Disney. It's good for Disney. It's good for Marvel. So I would very much like Sam Raimi to come back. I don't like if he wanted to do, say, a Ghost Rider reboot. I think that'd be great for Ghost Rider. Yeah. I don't know if he's interested in that though.
Yeah, like the movie's good and I liked it. It was fun. The problems with it are just more in the background, in the writing and the decision making. But I enjoyed the movie.
Now, and while I wouldn't call this a horror movie, there were like horror elements.
Yes.
This isn't a horror movie, but like it did have some horror tropes and visual flourishes and touches from like Sam Raimi's horror films that were very, very prevalent in this movie that I very much enjoyed. There were like shots right out of Evil Dead and things like that were awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you on that.
Okay, so I think we can close this out.
Wrap everything up. How could everybody find you, Jeffrey?
Okay, so I'm Jeffrey Harris, the J to the E to the double F-ree. You can check out my reviews and interviews on 411mania.com, including my review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm a Tomato Meter approved critic for Rotten Tomatoes. That's another way you can look me up. You can find me on Twitter at Wheeljack83. My next review will be Top Gun Maverick. So be on the lookout for that on 411 Mania soon.
Cool. And you can find me here on MUSE TV. We have a lot of great interviews this week and we have a lot of things that we're working on over the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, at the end of the month, May 26th, the Obi-Wan Kenobi watch party and after show kicks off. And we'll be back to talk about
the Force will be with us.
Star Wars. And we should hopefully we have some Star Wars Celebration access because I may have some access. I don't know.
Not me.
I gotta wait. But as Bruce Campbell said at the end of the movie,
it's over.
It's over.